Have you ever in your adult life run into that person that makes you stop and think, wow, I want what they've got? They seem to have it all figured out. That person that's extremely successful and full of life, passion, and enthusiasm, and also seems to have mastered their health, wealth, and relationships. That person that you're just magnetically drawn to, that you can't help but think, how do I get there? If you have, then you've probably noticed that most successful people have accomplished a certain degree of mastery with their health, but not just their physical health, but their psychological well being as well. They've learned to master the vehicle and the vessel. Today, I'm going to share the one thing that has allowed me to help thousands of clients to create the results that they want and actually allow them to keep it. I'm Zac Palmer, co owner and vice president of Fitness Gear and Training. I'm a corporate wellness consultant, speaker, fitness and wellness coach, creator of 30-Minute Fit, a group training program that's designed to deliver a private experience, and creator of Paradigm Lift Training and Mastermind. Now, a brief evolution of how I ended up in my company and in this industry. We're a family business of 30 years. I'm son of the owners. I took over 15 years ago. It was never my intention. I was originally going to school to dual practice in chiropractic and massage because of a football injury, and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more about that in a second. But basically, I was going to college. I was kind of at that one of those pivotal points where at that time, I wasn't terribly studious. I wasn't enjoying it. And called Dad up one day and was like, hey, Dad, could I join you at the shop? And it was just really intended to be a means to an end. And about a year later, they had the opportunity to move back to Hawaii, where my mom was born and raised. And Dad goes, hey, you think you could run the company? And I said, sure, I can do that. Now, at that time, we just sold fitness equipment. But I'd always had a passion for fitness. I grew up with fitness and wellness as my playground, really. And so a couple years after taking over, somewhere around 2021, we decided to move and expand the company to incorporate personal training. And it started out private studio environment, one-on-one, really wanted a clean, classy, boutique, non-intimidating environment that was really driven by experts. And it continued to evolve. The thing that you really need to know and understand is what kept me in the industry. And what may surprise many of you, is to learn that I'm actually legally disabled. I have herniated discs in my back. I had back surgery almost 15 years ago. I had days, weeks, months, years I couldn't bathe myself, dress myself, anything. It was 4 years of excruciating pain. Pain I still get a little bit emotional talking about sometimes, that I really don't want to remember. But I decided to turn my pain into my passion. And I will never forget the moment that my neurologist walked into the office and he goes, he's looking at my MRI report and he goes, you obviously have an incredibly high tolerance for pain, because I don't know how you're walking at the moment. But he goes, I know one thing. If you hadn't been in the physical condition, the shape that you were in prior to sustaining your injury, you probably wouldn't be walking. And I've never forgotten that lesson. And that became a catalyst for one of the reasons that I'm sitting here talking to you today. And also for the reason it became one of the motivations, the impetus for why I took my education to the degree that I have. As I mentioned before, I was a terrible student up through high school. Now, I love to learn. But I also believe that knowledge is not power. It's potential power. I could have all this beautiful information in the world rattling around in my brain, but if I don't know how to employ it to your benefit, it's not going to do any good. But the thing that I realized after working with countless trainers is two things. There's two major problems. The average tenure of a trainer in the industry is only 2 years. So we've got a market that's heavily saturated and being diluted with inexperienced people. But aside from that, I started to recognize other patterns. Most trainers study under one certifying body, and then they get stuck in the linear mindset and teachings of that organization. And then most trainers train people how they would train themselves. In the beginning, they tend to have a lot of success with that because they tend to attract people that are like them. But it was my failures, as much as or more than my successes, that really began to teach me what I needed to be able to reach a broader audience. Not just breadth, but depth. Because again, the thing that I hate more than anything, and I don't use that word lightly, is seeing people in pain, whether it's emotional or physical. So from an education standpoint, you may not realize this, but there's somewhere around a dozen different certifying bodies. And that doesn't even account for sub-certifications, unique specializations, independent studies, all of which can and frequently do have different thoughts, theories, conjecture, or supporting science relative to the same subjects. So what I chose to do is study them all, because my whole belief is when you can take that knowledge and intellect and combine it with time-earned wisdom and experience, that the marriage of the two is really what allows us to create the best experience. But I decided to take it a little bit further and complete a doctorate level medical terminology so I could communicate on a clinical level with other healthcare practitioners. I'm a level 1, level 2 certified kinesiotaping technician. I've had the opportunity to understudy with physical therapists by invitation. I have an athletic training background. But again, my belief is knowledge is not power, it's potential power. I have to know how to employ it to your benefit. So right now, I want to teach you one of the most important philosophies that I developed that will allow you to create sustainable health and happiness. And I call it my Woody the Woodpecker philosophy. I got a bunch of different goofy puns for many of my lessons, but it's my Woody the Woodpecker philosophy. So typically, let's say you go in, you sign up with the trainer, and I'm sure many of you have probably experienced this before. So what most trainers will do, and I think more often than not, they have the right intentions, but it's a combination of things that prevents them from delivering the best experience. So what most trainers will do is be like, all right, John or Jane, I want you to sign on the dotted line, commit to X number of days a week with me training, commit to X number of days of cardiovascular homework, go on X, Y, and Z calorie restricted diet, drink this much water, get this much sleep, do this much stretching, do all this stuff. And then what happens? Life happens. And when life happens, what's the first thing to go for most people? One or everything on the wheel of wellness. The nutrition, hydration, sleep, it all falls apart. Have you ever been there? I'll bet you have. That's why I'm so excited that I've put together a 2-day immersion program, a complete training and mastermind called Paradigm Lift, and I want to share it with you. Because some of you watching this video absolutely need to hear it and are going to want to take advantage of it. So let me tell you all about it. The 2-day immersion program is designed to solve those problems. You know, like when I was talking about Woody the Woodpecker method, the piece that I left out is you've got all that stuff, but what is the actual solution? Well, what I recommend and what I teach is called pick your power. And what I usually start with is the thing that I have the most direct impact and influence over, that weight training or resistance training, or my team does. And what we do is we work to create that habit. But more importantly, until that habit transcends into a lifestyle or ritual. And all the while, like Woody the Woodpecker, we're sitting there on your shoulder, chipping away, planting the seeds of change for the nutrition, hydration, sleep, whatever's next and most relevant to you. And when the time is right, when you stick with it, it will all fall into place. Because the thing I realize is we learn from our failures, but we build on our successes. So as we create momentum in any one area of wellness, all of a sudden your brain organically, it naturally starts to go, this feels good. What can I do to build on this? And that's the thing that you need to do to create sustainable health and happiness. Start in one place and then start to stack. But putting it all together, it's no wonder people are confused. It's no wonder they fail. It's no wonder we all know that person that's lost 100 pounds. You know, the person 10 pounds 10 times over and over and over again. There's all these yo-yo cycles. Everybody's got a solution, but they go to one thing. They go to their diet. They go to their fitness. They go to their sleep. Maybe they think if I drink more water, I'll be able to get there. If I stretch more, I'll feel better. It's not one, it's all these things. It's how do we put this puzzle together? And that's what my 2-day immersion program is about. That's what Paradigm Lift Training and Mastermind is. You're going to learn how to train for your body type, how to distinguish it, how to learn what all the different tools and protocols are so you can feel and look your best relative to where you are in life right now. And it's not as simple, or it's going to be simple. It's not as complicated as people make it. But you have to understand the distinctions and strategies so you can do that. So you're going to train for you, not how somebody else tells you should. You're gonna actually learn and gain the benefits of food. You're actually gonna feel good. You're gonna have the best clarity of thought, the most energy. You're gonna learn to love food in a way that you haven't before. And I'm not talking about like, can't wait to have that burger. You're gonna love food because it makes you feel a different way that you haven't experienced before in your life. Most people, in my experience, are in a perpetual state of toxicity. They don't realize how shitty they really feel until they make a substantial enough of a change for a long enough period of time to create that contrast. So I'm going to teach you how to listen to your body. Our bodies are telling us what we need all the time. It's just most of you aren't listening. So you're going to come away with that knowledge. And then once we get our fitness down, what's the thing one of the reasons we can't sustain it? Most people aren't working on their mobility, stability, balance, and recovery. So I'm going to provide you all the tools that you need to make sure that your body is actually able to maintain all of the great benefits that you're gaining in those areas. How much water you need to be drinking, really, and how to do it simply. Most people, for some reason, find water overwhelming. Why is that? It's not that complex. But I've got simple tools and strategies to ensure that you get enough so you look great, feel great, recover well, and so on. We'll work through sleep, how to prime yourself for success. But everything we've talked about so far is the body. What about the mind? Your mind is your foundation. Our psychology is what creates the true success. You know, I talk about the vehicle and the vessel. For some reason, people forget that this is attached to this. This lays the foundation. This is what propels you. This is what gives you the purpose. And then I'm going to give you the tools so that you can keep it. Now, I'm super excited because this program's coming back with a money-back guarantee. So you have absolutely nothing to lose. But you do. Your time. I know that if you're going to give me 2 days of your time, you can get your money back, you can do all that stuff, but you can't get a return on your time. So I guarantee you I'm going to 10x the delivery of this experience. You're going to walk away going, wow, this is so freaking easy, and I finally have the formula, the recipe, the secret sauce to be able to implement this in my life. And that's not hyperbole, it's not conjecture, it's the truth. Because it's taken me nearly 2 decades to get here. But I've got other bonuses for you too. You're going to get a private group. This is the Mastermind component where you guys can share your successes, talk about your failures and struggles, and we'll collaborate together to help you overcome any of those hurdles. So you got a support network after. It's not just come get an education and you're off. You got that support network. And then better yet, we've got additional training bonuses where you can pick and choose between private training, extended memberships to our 30-minute fit program, online training. You're going to have all the tools and resources that you need when you leave there and after the fact to make sure that you keep those results. Now, you need to understand, we're just launching this, and this is the lowest price that this is ever going to be at. This is the most bonuses that we are ever going to throw in. And we only have a limited number of seats available, so you want to make sure that you take care of this now. Think about it this way. If you guys want a different result, then you need to do something differently. So what I want you to do is get your credit card out, click the link below, and get signed up. On the welcome page, I'm going to give you everything that you need to get started to your path to creating sustainable health and happiness. I look forward to seeing you at Paradigm Lift Training and Mastermind. I'm Zac Palmer. Can't wait to meet you.